Hello learners, in this lecture we will understand how any project has to be planned. Now let us understand this. I have a project here. This is a plan of a project what I'm showing. So this is a factory area. Okay, and yeah, we'll start from here. Okay, this is written here site development plan, and you're making an entry to this particular building from here. Yeah, from here you're making an entry, and you have one more entry from here, right? Once you make an entry to here, you have two buildings here. Yeah, this is a factory building. This is made up of a steel structure, and you have an office block here. This is made up of a RCC building. I'll try to show you that in the after some time. First we'll try to understand this. Along with that, we have other small buildings here, like you have a scrap shed here, then you have a substation area here. This is also made up of RCC. Then you have a driver's room here. This is another building. Then you have another driver's room somewhere here. Yeah, you have a guardhouse here, right? There are almost 4 to 5 different buildings here. So I don't know when I don't know from which place exactly I have to start my project, right? So but the client has told me that he requires a factory area in the beginning itself, and after that you can give him the other area. That means, let us say this particular project, when we take up any project, we'll be given a date, that is a start date when you have to start the project, and we'll also be given a date when this project has to be handed over to the client, right? So let us say this is a 1 year project. It will take it will take 365 days for the entire project to start and to finish, that is to the handing out it to the client. And client has already told that by the end of the seventh month, I need the factory area and also some part of the office block. Let us say in this office block, the client has its office room somewhere here. So the client has already told us that by end of 7th month, I want the entire factory area to be handed over to me, and let us say 1 or 2 some rooms you have in the office area, that is called as a meeting room. He requires that. So what is my first planning idea? That is, I'll plan in such a way that this factory area is completed first. If my factory area has to be completed first, then I need to do my marking and then the excavation, the footing, everywhere. The first thing I need to start from the factory area, right? And also simultaneously I have to start with the office area. Now let us say I'll make use of yeah, see, yeah, making, yeah, okay. So this is entire is my office block. For let us say this is entire is my office block, and we have so many rooms here. Let us say this is meeting room number 1, this is meeting room number 2, and this is meeting room number 3, right? But whereas in this part you don't have any meeting room. Let us say you have 1 or 2 toilet area here. This is a toilet area for the male, this is for the female. Let me write it here. And you have some vendor meeting rooms here and other meeting rooms, right? So this is the office block and this is a factory area. So this anyhow I'm going to do it, the complete factory area I'm going to do it, because this is a client requirement. But when I come to the office block, the client has told me that out of the office block he required the meeting room to be handed over simultaneously along with the factory. Let us say I have 1 meeting room here, second meeting room, and this is a third meeting room. So I have 3 meeting rooms. So what I'm going to do, since this is not my priority area, this is not this area is not this area is not asked by the client, so I'm going to do my excavation from here, right? So in this part I'll try to target first. So once I finish the excavation, the footing, the PCC and all, then I can try to play with this area, like the excavation, the PCC and all. But main target will be this area, right? Because this is a client's requirement. So once these things are done, then you can see a scrap shed here. Then you can see a guardhouse and all. These things the client has never asked us, right? He doesn't require this at the end of 7th month. So it's a 1 year project. Let us say I require last 2 months to finish the scrap shed and the driver's room and the guard room. This in 2 months I can finish all these things. So this will be the non-priority area for me in the initial stage. So in this way I need to do the planning. Now this is the first thing. Second thing is that you already seen the in the previous lecture what are the requirements of the planning, right? So in that it was you have to understand the scope and the nature of the work. Now this is a factory area, right? So it's a factory area, so we'll be having a steel structure here. I'll write it here, steel structure. Let us say PB stand for pre-engineered buildings. Here what will happen, you'll be having a column, you will be having a rafters and all, and those things will be manufactured in the company, and from there they are going to transport it to the site, and here you are going to do the erection of that. But whereas this office area, what you can see, right, this is made up of RCC. I'll write it here. RCC stand for reinforced cement concrete, right? So here it's a steel structure. So here the sequence of the work, the nature of the work is completely different because you don't have a slab and all here, right? But whereas in the RCC work, you'll be having a slab, you'll be having a column casting, then you will be having a beams, you'll be having a reinforcement work. So much of reinforcement work will be here. But whereas in the steel structure that is in PB, you don't have any steel. I mean, you don't have those reinforcement work. Only thing is you have to get the PB structure. I mean, those rafters, the um, column sections and all, I try to have to erect it here. So these are two different work what we need to understand. So that is called a scope of the work. I'll try to understand. I'll try to make you understand this in a more better way. Yeah, try to erase it once. Yeah. So this is how that building looks actually. Okay. Yeah. So this is the office building here. You can see it, right? So this is made up of RCC building, right? But whereas this building, what you can see, this is my factory area. So it's a made up of steel structure. Right now you cannot see it. I'll show it in the next image. But all these are my roofing works and all. These are my sheeting works and all. So here the nature of the work is different. Whereas this is a scrap shed area and all. But here the client requirement is not there in the beginning of that. He doesn't require this in a priority area. Yeah. We'll try to. So this is so you can see it here, right? You'll be having a slab and all. So this is my RCC work to be done. Now I'll be showing you the steel structure work after this. We'll try to understand the steel structure work. Yeah. Yeah. Now look at this. So this is a factory area, right? Here what will happen, you'll be having this column sections, then you have the rafters and all, then you have to put the purlins, the sheeting works. Here the nature of the work is different, and here look at the lightings and all, then you will be having a fire hydrant pipes and all. So these are the machineries that you require. This is called as a boom lift. But whereas in the office area you don't require the boom lift and all, because there's no scope of the boom lift. But here the boom lift is required because a person will stand on that, he'll go to the top, he'll fix all those bolts and all. So the nature of the work is different. So based on that you'll be requiring the manpower. Based on that you'll be requiring the machineries that is required to carry out this work. Yeah. So this is how it is. These are the column sections. And yeah, so you can see it here. This is my office area and this is my factory area, right? So the client requirement is, let us say he require 1 or 2 rooms from somewhere from here in the priority area. Yeah. Yeah. So these are the sheeting works what we try to do. Once you finish your PB works, the steel structure, you want to put the sheeting works and also this is how the sheeting works are carried out, right? So in this way we need to understand, and based on that we try to do. Now for that matter, what I've done, I've taken a small kind of a project here. It's not a project, just to understand this in a better way. This is how I have planned it. Let us say I'm doing some random projects. We'll not try to take this project in the initial stage. It becomes very difficult for us. So I've taken one small random projects. Let us say this is some RCC building what I've taken, which is a G+3 or a G+4 building. Now I have to plan for that. So what all things you're going to plan? So let us say you have a structure works. In that you have foundations. In the foundations, what all work will be having? We'll be having the earthwork. That is, we have to do the excavation. Then we have to do the PCC work. Then we have to put the reinforcement. That is the footing reinforcement and all. Then we have to put up the form work for the footing. And then we have to do the concreting for the footing, right? This is my main activity. These are the sub activities of that. Next, coming to the column, right? Once these things are done, you have to raise the columns and all. Next, it's written here, column up to the plinth beam. Again, first you have to put the starter concrete. Once the starter concrete is done, you have to put up the reinforcement for the column. Then you have to put up the formwork for the column, and then you have to do the concrete for the column pedestal, right? Once these things are done, next is to do the plinth beam. But directly we cannot do the plinth beam. What we need to do? We need to do the backfilling, right? We have to backfill the soil which we had done the excavation. We have to put the PCC for the plinth beam, and then you can start with the reinforcement work for the plinth beam. So these things we need to understand. That is why I've already written it here. Backfilling and the PCC will be done. Then we are going to put the reinforcement work. Then we are going to do the formwork for the plinth beam. Then we are going to do the concreting for the plinth beam. And then again, the backfilling up to the plinth level will be done. Now, once this thing's done, we are going for the superstructure now. That is, you are going to put up your ground floor column reinforcement, the column, the shuttering, and you're going to put the beam bottom and all. So again, it's written here. We'll start with the starter concrete. We'll put the reinforcement. We'll put the formwork again. again you are going to do the concreting for the column. So in this way, since it's a residential project, the same thing is going to go up to you finish that floor. Let us say it's a G+3 building, so ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, all the things are going to be same. So that is why you can see everywhere the same thing. I have written it here, right? So in this way we are going to do the planning of the activity. Now since it's an RCC building, what has happened, you are going to find formwork, reinforcement, other things and all. But if it was a steel structure, then there is no question of starter concrete, reinforcement, formwork and all. In that case your sequence will change. In that case, what you have to do, main activities will be when you're going to do the erections of your column, when you're going to put the rafters of that, and when you're going to put the purlins for the steel structure, when you're going to do the sheeting works for that, when you're going to finish your cladding works, right? All these things will come under the steel structure, right? But right now we'll try to in the entire series of this lecture we'll try to concentrate only on the RCC structure. But we need to understand how the steel structure will also happen, how the sequence is going to happen. Based on that sequence we'll try to plan it in this way. Yeah. In the next lecture we'll try to understand what is start to start and what is finish to start activities, and then we'll try to understand all these things in a better way. I hope this is understood up to here. We'll see you back in the next lecture. Thank you.